shouted at the old widow. "Officer, why did you allow this old witch here?" Madam Onome questions the policeman. "But she have the right to visit her goat," the policeman explained to Madam Onome. "Please, my daughter, can you ask the officers to release my goat back to me? I have no money. Please, I am begging you, in God's name," the old woman cried and begged Madam Onome. "You have no money, you don't have any money, but yet your goat can go to people's farm to destroy their farmland, abi? Don't worry, by the time I'm done with you and that your stupid goat, nobody will recognize you or that your stupid goat." "Officer, officer," Madam Onome called the officer. "Yes, here I am, madam," the officer answered Madam Onome. "Why did you allow this woman here? Anyway, that is not the bone of contention. This old widow here said she have no money to pay me for the destruction her goats did to my farm. If she have no money, then she have something that she can give me in exchange of the farmland her goats destroyed. I want her farmland. I want a piece of farmland in the heart of this village. I heard that her farmland is the most fertile farmland in this village, so I want her to give me her farmland in exchange for the destruction and also a very big goat. Yes, it is either you give me your farmland or your goat, or I charge this case to court." You charge the case to court?" The policeman and the old widow questions Madam Onome surprisingly. "Yes, I have said it. I will charge you and your goat to court if you cannot fulfill your farmland to me." Then Madam Onome walked majestically out of the police station. Then the old widow was crying profusely. 1 month after, Madam Onome charged the case to court, and they were all seated in the local customary court waiting for the judge to arrive. After waiting for several hours, the judge finally arrived and they were all seated for the hearing of the case. Finally, the judge called Madam Onome to hear her part of the story, and Madam Onome narrated how she caught the goats destroying her piece of farmland and how she have asked the old widow to pay her or transfer the ownership of her farmland and her goat to her, but the old widow have refused. "Okay, I have heard all you have explained," the judge told Madam Onome. "I want you to step down so that the old widow can come forward and explain her own part of the story." Madam Onome stepped down and the old widow was about stepping forward when Madam Onome pushed the old widow down and her body hit the floor. The judge witnessed Madam Onome's action but act like she did not see what Madam Onome just did to the old widow. Then the old widow got up, cleaned her body and stepped forward and started to explain her part of the story. She explained to the judge that her goats actually destroyed some part of Madam Onome's farmland, of which she have pleaded with Madam Onome, but she was surprised that when she went to Madam Onome farmland to beg Madam Onome, she saw Madam Onome destroying some part of her farmland by herself, and she asked Madam Onome why she was destroying the farmland by herself, but Madam Onome told her that she wants the destruction that her goat did to her farm to look massive, so that by the time she wants to reward her, the reward will be very big. But she pleaded with Madam Onome, but Madam Onome have refused. And the judge asked Madam Onome if what the old widow was saying concerning the destruction of her farm by herself was true. Then Madam Onome denied it, saying that the old widow was lying, that she destroyed her farmland by herself, that it was the old widow's goat that destroyed her entire farmland. As Madam Onome was denying everything, a young lady walked straight into the customary courtroom and told the judge that Madam Onome was lying, that she saw Madam Onome destroying her farmland by herself, as the old widow claimed, that if there is anyone that is a liar in this courtroom, that person is actually Madam Onome and not the old widow. Then the judge asked the old widow and Madam Onome to move forward and look straight to her eyes while answering the question she's about to ask them. The judge called the old widow and asked her, "Old woman, please, how many farmland do you have?" The old woman explained to the judge that she left with just one farmland and that one goat after the death of her entire family, and she explained to the judge that she considered that goat as her only family member since all her family members are dead. She then told the judge that the goat have been her only source of joy ever since she lost her entire family, and she regards the goat as her family member. The old woman explained to the judge with tears rolling down her cheeks. The woman asked the judge to please ask Madam Onome to please forgive her and her goat and hand over her goat to her. Then the judge asked Madam Onome what she wants. Madam Onome told the judge that she would want the old widow to hand over her farmland and her goat to her as compensation to her. Then the judge asked Madam Onome to tell her how many pieces of farmland she have and cultivate on. Madam Onome smiled at this question as she see it as a way to show off and to show how wealthy she is. "I have 36 farmland here in our village and 25 other farmland in the neighboring villages around us. I also have thousands and thousands of cattle, sheep and goats." Madam Onome replied to the judge proudly, "You can see, Madam Judge, that I am a very rich woman." "I am a very rich woman," Madam Onome told the judge again. "I am one of the richest women in this village and environ." "You must be very rich," the judge asked Madam Onome. "Yes, I am one of the richest women in this village and environs." "Okay, I can see," the judge replied Madam Onome. "So if you are very rich as you claim, then why can't you just forgive the old widow and hand over her precious goods to her as you claim?" "I cannot forgive her," Madam Onome replied the judge. "I heard that her piece of land is very fertile and I want her to hand over her very fertile piece of farmland to me, and I also want her to hand over a very big goat to me. So for that, Mrs. Judge, I cannot forgive this old widow." You cannot forgive the old widow?" the judge asked Madam Onome. "Yes, my lord, I cannot forgive her." "Okay, if you cannot forgive her, no problem. My judgment goes like this. I, Justice Ebele, declare that Madam Onome should pay the court the sum of 500 million naira for the feeding money the police used to feed the goats she arrested for the past 1 month while the goats have been in custody, and Madam Onome should be in prison for 5 years with hard labour. On hearing the judge sen ten ce, Madam Onome fell down on the floor and started crying. She cried and said to the judge that she does not have that kind of money in her bank account, neither have she seen that kind of money in her entire life. She then pleaded to the judge to forgive her and that the judge should temper justice with mercy. If you cannot pay the police the money they use in feeding your goat, then you should hand over your 36 farmland to the police. Madam Onome fell on the floor again and was crying. She was shouting and she ran to the old widow to please help her to beg the judge for forgiveness. Please, judge, I want you to forgive me. I want you to forgive me. I cannot afford to forfeit my 36 piece of farmland to the police. Neither can I afford the sum of 500 million naira. Please, judge, forgive me. I'm begging you. Really? So now you want me to forgive you? The judge asked Madam Onome. But when I was begging you to forgive this old widow and release her one goat to her, you refuse. Let me tell you something, Madam Onome. You are a very, very wicked, heartless and greedy woman. So for that, I would like to teach you a lesson. I will not forgive you, but if you really want my forgiveness, then you should hand over 3 of your farmland to the widow and also 10 of your goats as compensation for stressing this old widow. Also, you will be sent to prison for 3 months with hard labour. But if you cannot do that for the widow, you will have to pay the sum of 500 million naira, as I stated before, to the police, or you forfeit 36 of your farmland to the police and go to jail for 1 year. So you have to choose the punishment you want. Then Madam Onome begged the judge that she will give 3 of her farmland and 10 goats to the widow and also go to jail for 3 months, because it is far better than the other punishment the judge have given to her. So the judge asked the policemen to send Madam Onome to prison for 3 months and also to hand over 3 of Madam Onome farmland to the widow, including 10 of Madam Onome goats. Madam Onome was dragged to the prison and she started begging the old woman as the policemen were dragging her. Then the judge handed over the big goats to the widow, and the widow reunited with her goats again, and she was very, very happy. Madam Onome story became the talk of the village, and the villagers learned lessons from Madam Onome and the old widow story. The villagers learned that it is not good to be greedy, and the story was told from generation to generation. Guys, for watching Simply Blessing vlog tales. I remain your #1 creator, Blessing Ikana Otugwo, popularly known as Simply Blessing. Please do remember to like, subscribe and share this video after watching. Bye. I love you all.